Being exposed to a range of different perspectives always improves your thinking on the topic, and DecarboN8 definitely has a broad range of perspectives involved in it, and that's been really helpful.
Just my exposure to the kind of DecarboN8 network has opened my, kind of felt like it's broadened my horizons in terms of kind of the different ways in which we might tackle this. I think I've kind of, you know, come at it from a behaviour change and then kind of active travel perspective. That's kind of what I've worked on, what I've been interested in, whereas kind of just being exposed to the different projects that DecarboN8 have funded has been really interesting to kind of, yeah, give me more insights into kind of what's been done to kind of tackle, you know, freight journeys, last mile deliveries. You know, we've talked about leisure journeys as well within that, and then kind of new forms of mobility as well. So it's kind of, you know, all these different perspectives.
You know, having an electric car does not solve all the problems. We need to consider our transport systems very holistically in terms of people and place, as well as just the nuts and bolts of distance from this place to this place, so that we make sure we don't suffer extreme transport exclusion. Because what will happen if people can't afford to drive and need to drive for some reason? Yeah. You have those lost hospital appointments, you have those lost social connection. Something else has to be in place.
Yeah. So when I started the project, I thought the next project was going to be all about electric vehicles and hydrogen, which is actually now quite popular in terms of funding. I now think that actually behavior change and organizational change, so collaboration among freight stakeholders, are the key, might be more powerful than cleaner and new technologies.
And there's a big literature now on the reality of transport exclusion and what it means, you know, and we know it's gendered for one thing, yeah, strongly, and we know it's very spatially patterned. But what happens to fairness when it's the people who've changed least that shout the most? And we find ourselves in the middle of a transition where they're essentially asking for a bailout for the high carbon lifestyles that they've chosen and can afford. Yeah. And do we make the problem even worse because we start spending money on making the transition less difficult for these people and leave behind those who have had it hardest and will continue to do so?
Littering is an issue. Fly tipping is an issue. Poor or short or very small sidewalks, you know, no space for walking is an issue. Very tight road lanes is an issue. Parking on street is an issue. So in terms of place-based solutions, what is important is that the council itself and obviously other stakeholders need to bring uniformity in the level of development and the kind of facilities they are providing. And it has to, so the better off areas and, you know, relatively less affluent areas should come, there should be some leveling ground so that people don't have to travel all the way to certain area of the city to walk or cycle, you know?
I think that we still talk about decarbonization as this far out thing in the future that will happen in 2050 or 2100, and we do draw charts, including myself, about that. But after we went through with this canal boat design exercise, we realized that, yeah, we could do it tomorrow. It's just this just needs to be a will and then a little bit of money, but especially with pilot projects like this, perhaps that's where you want to spend some of the public money to act as a catalyst. Yeah, I think what made me think about decarbonization about a different way was that in most cases the technology is there. We just need to deploy it.
It's happening now, right now. And we need to help people connect with this in useful ways that makes them understand it in their personal lives. And that is not about do this, do that. It will be about managing the balance between carrots and sticks. But it's also got to be about thinking far more holistically about transport and not putting into little boxes. I'm a driver, I'm not a driver, I'm a cyclist, I'm not a cyclist. What do people want? How do we help them get it when that is possible?